Okay, I'm going to call this video the Terrible Swift Sword Experiment. This is a game I've always had a fond affection for, and I want to play the first day scenario, but I've got to add some parameters to this video to explain what's going on. I'm going to play the first day scenario using the standard rules for the great battles of the American Civil War. These were the ones that were developed in the 1980s and are the SPI rules to Terrible Swift Sword. These are the last rules that I even acknowledge as the Great Battles system. The Great Battle system, as developed by GMT, now bears no resemblance to this system at all, in my opinion anyway. So I'm going to be playing the first day scenario with 2 maps only. Now, I've chopped off the map to the south here with the Emmitsburg Road and the Taneytown Road, but I've compensated for the distance. In other words, there's 25 hexes to the south here missing, but I've calculated for that, and when units come on, they'll come on a bit later. Of course, they'll be arriving on this board edge. It's just a bit more practical to film the scenario with just 2 maps rather than 3. You actually never play on this southern map anyway on the first day. The only other thing we're going to add is we are going to add the new morale rules for the regiments. So all the regiments and certain brigades now have this new morale chart to determine route. I recommend you play with that if you're going to play Terrible Swift Sword. The original morale rules do not work very well. So that's what we're doing, and the game starts at 7:40 a.m. in the morning with good old Davis and Archer coming on board on to the Gettysburg Pike, with Devon and Gamble's brigades of cavalry blocking them at Hers Ridge. So I'll film the sequence about every 20 minutes, every 40 minutes, 20 minutes, historical time. And we'll see where this goes. I have no idea whether this thing will work, whether this game can still be played with these rules. Maybe it's so out of date, but I don't know. It's just an experiment. Let's see how it goes. Okay, that's the situation at 7:40 after the Confederates have moved. Not much happening there, of course. Archer and Davis in column moving up the pike. And over to the right, we've got Devon and Gamble deployed on Hers Ridge. Now, normally the artillery here would have a shot at Archer and Davis, but it is blocked by this spur of Hers Ridge, so there's no defensive fire. So it'll be the Union turn, but I doubt very much whether they'll be moving. Let's see what they do. I think Devon and Gamble are in positions that are just fine. Of course, I'm going to play kind of historical. I'm going to try to have Devon and Gamble delay Davis and Archer as much as they can without taking casualties. So that's the end of the 7:40 turn. Confederates and Union have moved. Okay, that's the situation after the Confederates have moved for 8 o'clock. You can see Archer's brigade is in line here. Davis is all in column, and Pegram's 5 batteries have come up the pike. Now with the Union turn, don't think there'll be any firing still. No, the ridge still blocks. They'll have to make the decision whether they want to stand. Take a look at the Union position before they move. Okay, I've decided Devon and Gamble are still in a pretty good position. They're going to hold Hers Ridge for at least 1 turn. So we'll be going to the 8:20 turn, see what the Confederates can do. Okay, this is after the 8:20 turn. The Confederates have moved. They're proceeding very cautiously. Heath's advanced brigades here, Davis and Archer, are now in line and are creeping forward. Pegram's artillery has come up still limbered, and behind that are Pettigrew and Brockenbrough in column, and A.P. Hill, the corps commander, is himself on the field. This spur of Hers Ridge still blocks fire, so there'll be no defensive fire by the Union player. So we'll look at the Union position, see if they want to move. I might point out that Union units, Reynolds and the advanced part of the 1st Corps, are on the board. They're on the southern part of the board, which is not yet part of our game here, but they will be appearing to the south. Let's see if Devon and Gamble want to stay around for one more turn. Okay, if I've calculated this right, I think Devon and Gamble are still safe in staying in that position, because it'll take most of their movement factors just to approach Devon's line, and they'll be within 2 of carbine fire, so I think they can stand for another turn. So the Union player will not move again. So we'll be going on to the 820 turn Confederate. I misspoke there, we're actually on the 840 turn, of course, and let's see what the Confederates can do. Okay, we're definitely going to see some action this time. The Confederates have now moved in very close. Archer is now within within range of the fire of Gamble and Devon. So are many elements of Davis's brigade. 4 batteries of Confederate artillery have unlimbered here. The Crenshaw, Fredericksburg, Letcher, and PD batteries. Of course, we've got Caliph's battery here for the Union ready to fire too. So there's going to be a number of die rolls, and we should see some casualties and possibly some routs too. So we'll follow the action after the Union have done their defensive artillery. I will point out that we will be using the ammunition rules too, so every time a battery fires, it'll be 1 less ammunition point. The Union have 8 ammunition points, the Confederates have 6. So you'll get lots of shots, but you don't want to be wasting ammunition either. So let's do the defensive Union fire and see what happens. Okay, we had a whole host of different results there, not too bad for the Confederates. The 27th Mississippi took 100 casualties but held. The other ones were hit and the morale held, and same with Archer. He got a PR result, held. This unit got pinned down, the 14th Tennessee. So after one defensive fire, the Confederates didn't do too bad. Now they're going to open up with their guns here, and we'll see what they can do. Of course, paying with ammunition. Okay, at the end of the Confederate offensive fire, they didn't do too much. They pinned one unit down here, and they caused 100 casualties on that one. I did split the fire of the artillery to get the maximum, but they were firing on a pretty poor table. The 0 or less, or 3 or less grape shot table, so it wasn't great. Now we'll do the final command phase for the Confederates. The pin results come off, and that will be it for the Confederate turn. We'll be doing the Union turn. They've got a pinned unit, so they may be sticking around, I'm not sure. Okay, since Buford's primary purpose is to delay and not get destroyed, I decided to pull them all back. Now, this pin guy couldn't, of course, but in the final command phase, which is now, this pin will come off. There's no real firing except for here, so I'll do this one shot. Well, technically that pin doesn't come off till after the Confederates fire, but all these other guys are behind the crest, so the Confederates can't see them. We'll do this one shot, and then we'll finish the turn for the Union. Okay, as it turns out, the Confederates got lucky, rolling a 6 and causing 100 casualties on the 8th Illinois. So that will be the end of the 840 turn for the Union. The next turn will be the 9 o'clock turn with the Confederates. Okay, that's the situation after the Confederates have moved for the 9 o'clock turn. Now, Davis's brigade has managed to close right into primary range with Devon's cavalry. The artillery should be able to get some nice pot shots here long range. And Archer's brigade is closed here. So we're definitely going to see some casualties this turn since both units are at primary range. We should see some heavy casualties, I would think. Carbines and rifles at range 1 aren't pretty. Let's catch the action after the Union have done their defensive fire phase. Okay, some more variety results there. Buford's men are getting chewed up a little bit. They've taken several 100 casualties here. None of them routed though, they stood, and one of them got an ammo depletion. So that's the Confederate turn, and we'll see what the Union can do. I'll probably conclude the video after this turn and do a bit of an analysis and see what's going on. because I think I've seen what I wanted to see. The game seems to be working with the standard rules. And we've got the first corps coming up here, Gettysburg Road. Take them a few turns before they get through the town and out to the Pike here, but I think Buford is buying the time they need. But let's see what Buford can do in his turn. Okay, this is the situation after the Union have moved. Not too good, I'm afraid. In trying to withdraw, several of Buford's men were hit. Two of them even routed. One of them got pinned. It just doesn't look very good. Oh, that's right. These guys will be able to rally because you can spend rally points to rally them in the final command phase. But still, it's not a very good position to be. First corps is coming up just south of the town. Reynolds himself is in the town. But Buford is very hard pressed right now, not holding as much ground as he did historically. The Confederates would move next, of course, and I know they would close. You might as well have Davis and Archer close on these units, and I don't think it would be too good for Buford. So I'm going to conclude the video there. I've seen enough what I want to see, and I'll just make a few comments on the game. Okay, how does Terrible Swift Sword play with the standard rules? Well, actually not too bad, but I'm a little disappointed that the casualties are a little on the high side still, even with these standard tables. So to make Terrible Swift Sword viable as a, bring it up into the 20th century, you might say, to make it a better game, probably still needs a little bit of polishing. Not much, mind you. Maybe this table just needs to be modified again so that there's less hits and more pin routes. But that'll make the game maybe less interesting. I can't tell. I really can't tell at this point. I mean, Buford didn't do too bad. I probably could have played better too. Maybe I should have had Buford fall back further. So I'm not saying my strategy in this game was the best either. Maybe I just blew it by having him get pinned. But some of those results are just due to die rolls, and that's all there is to it. The good old Reynolds column coming up here from the south, I don't think is going to get there in time. We can count the hexes. They're going about 10 hexes a turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, they'd be in here. Buford's got to buy at least 3 more turns if the First Corps is going to get to defend McPherson's Ridge. I think it's possible, but it might be at the cost of losing most of Buford's division. So, I don't know. It's hard to say. So much depends on die rolls, too. Because we've got Caliph's battery here is now unlimbered. We'll be able to take some nice shots as the Confederates advance. But I'm a little concerned that the casualties are high. So I called this video the Terrible Swift Sword Experiment, and that's what it was for me. So that's it for Terrible Swift Sword, the Experiment.